What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Michael and Trevor Show. I'm Trevor.
And I'm Michael.
Welcome back, Michael. And today we are breaking down the Lord and Miller's Project Hail Mary. Michael and I got to see this in 40X at the King of Prussia Mall, and what a fantastic experience this was.
Yeah, very happy I made my return to the Michael and Trevor show with this movie, 40X experience. This was a fun one. So we'll get into it. Just a quick plot summary here. We got science teacher Ryland Grace, played by Ryan Gosling, wakes up alone on a spaceship light years from Earth. As his memory returns, he uncovers a mission to stop a mysterious substance from killing the sun and saving the Earth. And if you like this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment, and make sure to check us out. We have TikTok, Instagram, and now Letterboxd. Check us out.
And don't forget, Michael, have you seen my new shirt? The
Oh my
Michael and
God.
Trevor Show is now on Amazon.
Whoa.
Yeah. So type in the Michael and Trevor Show shirt on Amazon. We'll link everything in the bio, but you can pick up 6 shirts like this and a bunch of other movie and physical media related stuff. It helps out the channel a great bit. So go check it out. So let's talk about this. We're going to do a little spoiler free action, then jump into some spoilers later. This, like I said in the intro, directed by Phil Lord and Christopher Miller. They've done Cloudy with the Chance of Meatballs. They've done Spider-Verse. They've done a few things. Everything's been really good from them. This is obviously a science fiction picture. We
Hmm.
have Ryan Gosling, Sandra Hüller. Those are the two main casts. And there's a lot of supporting actors. You have Lionel Boyce, who was on The Bear. James Ortiz played Rocky. You have the lady from the AT&T commercials. So a lot of people in this movie. I'm not gonna lie. Um, so we saw this in 40X.
Hmm.
We've seen F1 and 40X as well. I've
Yep.
seen Beetlejuice. Tell me about your experience with 40X in this movie, and do you think it elevated it, or do you think it kind of held the movie back a little?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think 40X is ever going to hold a movie back necessarily, right? Like, if anything, I think it would be maybe too much. I kind of did forget from the F1 experience how intense it does get. Like you literally have to hold on, especially if you have popcorn. Like if you don't hold on tight to that, you are going to like it's going to go everywhere, which I feel like they should give a warning to
Yeah,
people about that. Like if you're not holding on tight for your pop, I'm surprised more people aren't flinging drinks and popcorn everywhere. But that's just to say we knew it was a space movie, so I've done like cool space rides in like Disney World and stuff, so I'm like this is kind of going to be like that a little bit, I feel like. And I mean, it got pretty crazy, right? In space movies, there's going to be intense scenes with the spaceship going fast and stuff. So, like, I think they did a pretty good job with it. I think they did a good job balancing it, especially it was a 2.5 hour long movie. So, if we were just moving around
mm-hmm.
crazy the whole time, I think I would have like wanted to throw up or be dizzy by the end of it. But I thought there was a good balance with the 40X experience. We went to the one here in King of Prussia, Pennsylvania, which also has 70 millimeter IMAX. So to say is this better than maybe just seeing an IMAX? I don't know. I think IMAX would have been pretty cool as well, but it was less busy as well, which was kind of nice. So I definitely don't regret seeing this over just our normal movie theater. What did you think?
Yeah, I thought it was super fun. The I felt like this was a Disney ride. So
Yeah.
you mentioned like the space rides. There was a few moments in there that I'm like, wow, this is like zero gravity. Like I just feel myself spinning. I'm like, am I dizzy or is it actually spinning? Like it was
Yeah.
just so cool. And there's a particular scene towards the end that I was physically sweating at. Like my hands were sweaty. It was an intense scene, and you were just rocking back and forth like Spaceship Earth. Um, I do want to mention, so Alex, who does Real Friends podcast, him and I were good friends. We text a lot. He actually saw his first IMAX movie was Project Hail Mary.
Oh,
He said
that's
it was a
sick.
fantastic experience.
I can't wait to see
So
his
I'm
movie
so
with it.
happy he got to see that.
Yeah,
Yes,
that
yes, we do.
that
He's a
is a
great
good
guy. Go
first.
follow Real Friends podcast on everything. Alex is great over there.
Yeah, and you guys just saw Ready or Not, right? So you'll have another review coming out with that.
Yeah, we did a throwback review to the original Ready or Not.
Right, right. That's
So
awesome.
that'll
But
be
yeah,
fun.
this
But yeah,
movie, 40X
40X,
experience.
it's fun.
If you have one, I mean, how common are these 40X theaters? Is IMAX more common? Or obviously IMAX is more common than 40X, but
I think IMAX is more common. Um, and I think like I shouldn't have to drive 45 minutes to go see an IMAX movie, you know? Like it
yeah,
should be more prevalent. People they want people to be in theaters more, so give somebody more of a premium experience.
yeah. But I think the IMAX is a pretty like probably expensive experience to run. I mean, our tickets were kind of expensive. It was like 30 bucks to go. Well, we saw 40X, but it was definitely worth
Yeah.
it. Not something you probably want
Thank
to do
you
like
for that
every week.
Regal Unlimited.
True. True, I did get a
Thank
free
you, Regal
popcorn.
Unlimited, for allowing me to actually do stuff like that. So yeah.
Yeah, no, that was
But
fun.
let's
But
talk about what worked well.
yeah, I'm gonna give again, there's so much to get into with spoilers with this, like with what worked
Mhm.
well, what didn't work well. Let's just give like our overall real quick, like give me your, 60 to 90-second overall what you thought of this. We got freaking Ryan Gosling blockbuster. We've been seeing previews for the past 6 months. Initial
Mhm.
impressions. What do we think?
So this is gonna sound crazy, but I was not excited for this movie. There's some movies that I really love and I'm excited for. This movie, I'm like, okay, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be a long movie. Is it like was it the top of my list for 2026? No, but I'm glad I got to see it.
Well,
I'm
that's
gonna tell you my
okay.
letterbox review.
I was gonna say you said it wasn't my
What?
top movie. I mean, this year's pretty crazy, so that's not a crazy thing to
Yeah,
say. But all right, go ahead.
that's true. I mean, we have so much coming out this year. But let me tell you my letterboxed review here. Almost perfect film if they cut out a little bit of the fluff. Also, I
Mm.
wanted to mention how funny this film was. I was truly not expecting this. Saw this in 40X, and I have to say, it really felt like I was in space. I'm saying this on our podcast and on Letterboxd. This will be nominated for Best Picture, Best Actor, Best Director, Cinematography, Score, Editing, VFX, and Adapted Screenplay at the Oscars. This was an overhyped movie, and it lives up to the hype.
Okay. There we have Trevor's overall. Obviously, we'll get deeper into what we can tell we liked a lot about this movie. Maybe there will be some things
Yes.
we didn't think were perfect about it, but I mean, it has to be nominated for a ton of different things. You always think with these movies too, the space movie, there's going to be some really cool shots. They definitely delivered
Mm.
with that, which we'll talk about more. And you weren't, I can verify, you were not expecting much out of this. You did tell me before you weren't overly excited looking into this movie. Honestly, I can't say I was like surprised by a ton of things that happened in this movie. Honestly, I expected it to be pretty funny. Like Ryan Gosling, his comedic timing, I mean, we've seen in other movies he's done. He's just like a funny, witty guy. Like in interviews I see with him, he's kind of like humble, this like humble guy, but he's really good at what he does, and it's kind of like his character in the movie. So I thought it kind of just fit perfectly with kind of how everything shaped out. And we'll talk more about like the overall story of how he got to space because obviously it opens up with how he's in space. And, throughout the movie, we learn more and more about the story, which is one of the things I really loved about it. But I think they hit the nail on the head with the casting in Ryan Gosling. Um, obviously it's not a spoiler about Rocky here because we saw him in the trailer. I mean, it's all the promotional material. I think they also nailed it with that. I mean, you've seen it. It's literally a rock. They have to bring some emotional aspect to it as well, and I think they did it pretty good with Rocky. Score was good, visuals were good. Obviously, we're in 40X, so it did elevate the experience a lot, but I mean, this was just a fun movie. Was it a perfect movie? Definitely not, which I'm excited to see what you thought about some certain things about the movie,
Yeah.
but go see Project Hail Mary. This will be like Trevor said, I think it'll be nominated for a lot, even though this is going to be a crazy year for movies
Yeah.
and nominations. I think this one's going to last pretty long. We saw Sinners came out right after award season last year. Did were they or no? They lost out to one battle and after another with a lot of these things. But we'll definitely be talking about Project Hail Mary next March for sure.
100%. And this is not only next March, but this is a true classic film, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I am interested to see how it holds up. We'll talk about more too, like the people are given the interstellar comparisons and stuff. Obviously, it's a very much different movie, but it is a space movie. I'd say this is more like comedy, fun, like science fiction. Interstellar's a little bit different. But I don't think Interstellar got like great reception right off the bat. I think it grew on people a little bit later down the line, but obviously we're in 2026 now, which a lot has changed um, with everything. So
I
I
think
don't
this
know.
is the movie that Mickey 17 wanted to be.
Yes, because Mickey 17 was kind of supposed to be like a funny sci-fi, and it just went nowhere. But Robert Pattinson's making a comeback this year. We know that for a fact.
Mhm.
Anyways, what should we
So
get into?
let's talk about what we liked about. So obviously, we know that the performances were great.
But there weren't too many, to be honest. It
No,
was,
it's a smaller cast, and it really just shows off Ryan Gosling's acting chops.
yep.
I mean, we've seen him. He's been in The Nice Guys. He's one character. He's Ken and Barbie, another character. This is like an amalgamation of everything that Ryan Gosling has done in his career. You have the highs, you have the lows, you have the funny chops, you have the sad, dramatic chops. I mean,
He's making a run. Like
wow.
he's getting up there in the actor rankings, in my opinion. Like for at
Yeah,
least guys that I like.
he's
Um,
really turning into a. I mean, he's done La La Land.
yeah.
He's such a. He's a movie star. And I was kind of worried about after Fall Guy what was going to
Mm.
happen in his career. Because I
Because he
love
was
Fall
kind
Guy,
of
but it
in
wasn't well received.
he was in a couple weird like he was in that Gray Man movie that
Mm-hmm.
didn't do too well. I didn't think that was a very good movie. Not his fault. I didn't, just thought it wasn't a great written movie, but I'm trying to think. Obviously Barbie was huge, but I mean that was like it was the movie was funny. It was like a joke. It wasn't like a serious role,
Yeah.
obviously. But this one I'm very glad they obviously adapted this from a book.
Mm-hmm.
And I am curious what people who wrote the book, because people who always read books always have an idea of who they're going to cast in a movie like this. So I haven't really looked into the book side of things, what people thought about this. But from what I'm hearing, they adapted it pretty close to the book, which is funny enough. It sounds like when they adapt movies from books and keep it pretty close to the book, a lot of times they do really well. So I don't know why they always try to change stuff, but um I don't know. I just, dude, this movie, so many things worked well. Like, I don't, what else do we talk about? We got the cast done. Does
I
Rocky
do.
count as part of the cast? Do we talk
Rocky
about
is.
Rocky?
So James Ortiz just, I believe, was originally just supposed to do the puppeteering because
Okay.
Rocky is a puppet
That's
and
what
with
you
some
told me.
CGI mixed in, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. And what I'm,
So they went from James Ortiz just doing the puppet movement to him actually having that connection with Ryan Gosling, which I thought was awesome.
okay.
Um, I just want to give a huge shout out to Lionel Boyce from The Bear. I thought he could have been such a one dimensional character, just him being like the secret agent or like the special government guy. But that scene that they had in the Home Depot
Oh,
and
yeah.
that little like just a little friendship that they built, I thought it was fantastic. Fantastic way to start off the film. So I just want to give a huge shout out to Lionel Boyce on that.
Yeah, I was wondering, it took me a couple seconds because I haven't really seen him in much, but I did watch The Bear and I'm like, yeah, that's the guy from The Bear.
Mhm.
I didn't really recognize too many other people. Obviously, we have Sandra Hüller, I think is how you say it,
Yeah.
supporting actress. And then, okay, I'm looking at the cast right now. Okay, so we have the astronauts that went up with him. It's not a spoiler. We see in the first couple scenes that a couple astronauts didn't make it through.
I think we can talk about let's talk about
Or
some
we're
spoilers.
in spoilers
Yeah.
anyway because we're
Yeah.
talking about what we liked and didn't like. That's the girl from the AT&T commercials.
Yeah, man.
I didn't even know that. Is she like, no disrespect if she's actually in like a ton of movies, but like, I just realized that's the girl from the AT&T commercials. That's
She's been in
crazy.
a few things. She's been in like the Monster series that is on Netflix.
Wow.
She's been she was actually supposed to play Squirrel Girl,
Okay.
the Marvel character. Um, she's
Well,
been
look, I
just
don't
a
want to talk
few,
about her,
yeah,
but cool.
few TV shows.
Cool to see the AT&T actress in the movie here. I think she maybe had one line, but yeah, last thing on Rocky
And
there.
it was a Russian. She was Russian too. Don't forget that.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. In real life, or you're saying in the movie?
No, in the
Oh, okay. Because
movie.
yeah, she had a Russian accent. But last thing I just want to say on Rocky, thank gosh they nailed it. I was wondering because there was a part where Ryan Gosling's character was going through the different voices. I think they settled like on a good voice. I feel like that really could have ruined it a little bit if they didn't settle on a good voice or if they had like a funky, weird robot voice. But it was a pretty like just sounded like your typical like robotic human being type voice that you would see in other movies.
And there was such a funny scene. Like that scene was so funny. Meryl Streep actually made a funny
Yeah,
cameo, like of her voice cameo in it, which was
but
actually her.
it had to be her. Like they can't just
Yeah,
like have her
which is so funny.
do that with it. But it's funny she agreed to like just do that. I wonder if you get paid for that. Like, hey, we're gonna have this one scene. Here's like 10K. Like, you think they pay her for that?
I'd take 10K to do just about anything.
Yeah. Again, me and Trevor thought this movie was amazing. One thing I will have to say, okay, it's nothing wrong with the movie. It's just like just how these things go. There is no way they are figuring out how to communicate in the vocabulary like that. That was the one thing I was thinking is like, we have words that mean multiple things. Like that was crazy. Them having the communication between each other. Like there's no way they would actually figure that out,
Well, he was talking to a space rock, Michael. So things are going to be a little skewed.
Yeah, no, again, nothing. That's not a gripe with the movie or anything. That's just
No, but
how
it
things
was kind
go.
of funny. Like it's just like a dinosaur picking up Link. Like they could have done this with freaking Jurassic Park. Like, all right, Blue, let's talk to each other. You
Yeah.
know?
I like how they did it though. It just like again showed how like smart Ryan Gosling is. Like I feel like we've had movies where there's some like creature they try to communicate with, but they've never actually done it like they did it here, and it shows him like trying to pick up certain sounds and actually creating like a dictionary with it. That was pretty
Yeah,
cool.
it's brilliant actually.
Yeah. But what else?
So
So
the
yeah.
story was pretty good and it was great. It was a I've never read Project Hail Mary, but from what I've seen, it was adapted very well. Let's just talk about the visuals real quick because that really stands out. As you can see in Michael's background, that's one singular shot of the film, and it's gorgeous.
Yeah, this was crazy. And you knew, I mean, either it was going to be mediocre or amazing because, I mean, it's in space. You knew there were going to be some crazy shots. Um, just how they made this whole planet that they went to, I was not expecting that.
Mm-mm.
That looked really cool. It's like this weird green and orange planet, as you see in the background here. They had some amazing shots and like the different ships. The Rockies like ship, especially, I was like so confused watching that. Like that was sick how they did that.
It was so funny too how he wanted not to get docked in, so that was a whole great bit that they did there.
Oh
That
yeah.
was so funny.
No, it was so funny. And again, props to Ryan Gosling because it's like it's a rock and like
Yeah,
none of that's actually real. And I'm just thinking as an actor trying to do all of that, just with like all these people around you, cameras, and then there's just a rock and you're like making jokes with it. That is so funny.
and I believe that planet that is right behind you, Michael, is called Adrian.
They named it Adrian.
Yes, they named it
Yes.
Adrian. So you got Rocky and Adrian.
Rocky
Fitting
and
that we
Adrian.
saw this in Philadelphia.
Yeah. No, literally. Um, but yeah, what else?
And
Story was good. Obviously, it was 2.5, over 2.5 hours, which is, I would say once you're getting past the 2 hour and 15 minute mark, like you're getting there. I think the last movie I saw that long was like Wicked for Good, and it was like 2 hours and 20 minutes. I was like, okay, this is getting to be a little bit too long here. But to be fair, for being that long, I was pretty engaged the whole time. We're into spoilers now. This is one of those movies where it was like this movie could have ended like four different times.
100%.
Uh, which is not again a gripe with it or anything. It's just like it's funny. I thought it was about to end two or three different times, but I knew the runtime, so I knew it was probably going to go a little bit longer, but I don't know. How do you feel about that?
So I, it was a little long for me,
Yeah.
but at the same time, this man is out in outer space by himself, and I don't know if we were supposed to feel a little bit of that time because he's
Mhm.
up there for so long.
Yeah.
Which, if that's what they meant to do, then fantastic. But it just did feel a little bit too long. If they would have shaved 15 minutes out of it,
I'm just trying to think
yeah,
what they would have.
exactly. Because it's like everything was purposeful. It wasn't like scenes to have scenes.
No. Yeah.
But I don't know. For me, it was just a slight tad too long.
Yeah. But again, I don't think they changed the story like in all those times we thought it was going to end. I don't think that was changed from the book, so I
Correct.
guess they just adapted it close to the book and that's how it turned out. And one of the things I love movies where you do pick up pieces as it goes. So it
Mhm.
starts with him in space and we kind of pick up the pieces. Like the whole time, I'm sure you were wondering too. I'm like, they're making it sound like all these other astronauts are going. He's clearly not the one going to space. We're like, how did they convince him to end up going to space? And when we saw the big reveal, the big explosion that
Yeah.
happened, that was crazy. But then you were still like, wait, because he made it clear he didn't want to go to space. So then the twist kind of where we found out that they like forced him
He got
and they like
drugged
drugged
to
him.
be up in space.
Yeah, and kind of them turning. I mean, his relationship with what was her name in the movie?
Grace?
Um, no, his name was
No,
Grace.
his name's Grace.
Ava.
Eva.
Eva. Was kind of like it wasn't like they were best friends or anything like that, but I mean, he had a pretty good relationship with what's his name? The guy from The Bear. I'm like forgetting
Carl.
everyone's names now. Carl. To just to see them kind of turn on them was kind of like dang. But again, this was more of like a comedy movie, so like that is maybe one of the gripes I have is like the emotional parts. Like I didn't feel like crazy sad when
Hmm.
that happened,
Correct.
you know?
I was hoping I'd feel a little bit more emotion because I've seen people
Yeah.
like, oh, I cried during this. And I'm like, I don't get that. But like, I cried at the end of Wuthering Heights, bawled my eyes out. I was expecting the same thing in this. It just didn't hit for me as hard as it did for some other people. But it still made me like, wow, like, that's very selfless of him. And the whole like, I'm brave part, like them talking about bravery,
Yeah.
I thought that was very well done.
No, and I thought it was too, because it was one of those things where like, and I don't know if I can relate to this specifically, but it's like how Ryan Gosling's character was. Like even when they were like forcing him to do it, like it was kind of funny when he was like running away and he jumped up on the thing. Like it
Yeah,
wasn't
yeah.
actually that intense of a scene in the whole like brave thing. I feel like that's just kind of how his character was. And I thought with the emotional thing too, it's like some people not even again comparing Interstellar, but like Matthew McConaughey's character, his whole thing was he wanted to get back. He had kids. Ryan Gosling didn't really have anything left on Earth, so like throughout the movie, it didn't feel like we cared about him and Rocky, not
Mhm.
necessarily even if Earth was saved. So like it didn't even really feel like Ryan Gosling's character cared that much to go back to Earth that much, which we find out he kind of didn't even go back to Earth
No.
at first. So, you know, I
Yeah,
don't
I
know. Take
thought
it for what
there's
you
gonna
will.
yeah, I thought there's gonna be a little bit more with the kid, like, because he's a teacher. So I thought there's gonna be more like stuff about him teaching. Like
Yeah.
I'd felt like if they would have done less of it in space and like have a few moments with him as a teacher, and then also if they talked more about that explosion that happened,
Yeah, they didn't really like
like
they just went
swapping
right
that
to
out for
it.
some extra space things. Now, while the space visuals were fantastic, bouncing a little bit more on Earth, I thought might have
Yeah.
helped push the story a little bit quicker.
Like the explosion thing was like it had happened and then they were just like next man up. I thought it was gonna be some whole thing and we see like freaking dead bodies laying everywhere or
That's I was
something.
kind of like not excited, but like interested in what that was all about because that's I mean that was a third act, like middle of the third act.
Yeah.
I'm
And
like,
they
what the heck?
Yeah, they didn't really explore too much. And it's like with this whole thing happening, it's like the world was gonna end in 30 years, which is like that's a long time from now. So I just didn't have that like urgency
Hmm.
of like the whole situation that was going on. But that being said, like everything else about the movie was so great that I
Yeah.
still enjoyed it for what it was. Again, it's not Interstellar.
Right.
That's
And it's
okay.
not the movie's fault. It's based off of the book.
Yeah.
So I actually I'm not a huge reader. I read comic books,
Hmm.
but not books. I actually do want to read this book just to see the differences.
Me too. Will I read the book? I don't know, but I at least want to look in the book and maybe look for specific parts of it and see how they did it.
Yeah.
Um,
I'll pick it up from Second and Charles for
yeah.
$5.
Yeah, exactly. I will say though, the scene though where Rocky actually is like saving him, like
Oh,
that was that was a great scene though to see all
yeah.
that. He's just like burning a lot. Like I was, if I was to shed a tear, like it was during that part.
Yeah.
That
It's
was like,
kind of like the ET, the boy and his space creature.
yeah. And
At the
honestly,
end, yeah.
I was gonna say people were saying that like with all the different endings, like you kind of knew Rocky was gonna make it out. I didn't know that. I thought maybe it was gonna be a movie where obviously, I'm not gonna say one or the other is gonna make it because obviously Rocky's. It's not gonna be like Ryan Gosling dying and Rocky making it. It's a freaking rock alien. At the end of the day, you knew Ryan Gosling's character was gonna live, but I did think Rocky was gonna like sacrifice himself and die. So
Hmm.
I'm glad that didn't. I'm glad actually he came back to life
Yeah.
because a
It
lot of
literally
movies
told
don't
an
do
ET.
that. A lot of movies do make you just
Yeah.
end sad.
So it had a great ending. And I know Ryan Gosling talked about this, and it's the reason why he wanted to do it because
Hmm.
it's a movie that the whole family can watch. And I very much believe in that.
Exactly. Yeah. No, everyone can see this,
So
but
I think we talked about almost everything that we wanted to hit on.
yeah, I mean, this movie.
Yeah.
This movie was I don't want to say perfect, but we'll get
Give me
into our
your
ratings here.
give me your rating, Michael. Give me your
Okay, we'll
rating.
get into the ratings. This is by far my favorite movie of this year. To be fair, I haven't seen a lot of movies this year, but I'm excited to see how it stacks up the rest of this year. I gave it a 4.5 out of 5, 9 out of 10. Again, this was a really freaking good movie. I don't know why I didn't give it a 5. Like, what is missing from that point 0.5? Again, I don't think it has anything to do with how they made the movie. I guess I maybe there's some things I wish were different, but it's based off a book, so I can't blame the movie. The characters were great. I do really like science fiction movies, so again, maybe I'm biased a little bit, but I think I think they did a great job with this. So I'm excited to hear what you thought because obviously you didn't have the biggest expectations going into this.
So funny enough, I actually gave this a 4.5 out of 5 or a 9
Okay.
out of 10. I'm the same with you. I like I said in my review for Letterboxd, I think it either taken up 15 minutes or used those 15 minutes towards more on the ground story on
Okay.
Earth. I would have appreciated more, but everything else was just great. I think this is a rewatchable film too for me.
I thought it wasn't at first. When I first got done, I'm like, I don't know if I can watch this again. I think it was just because the 4D experience. I'm like, I need a
Mm-hmm.
sec. That was that was wild. But I do think I'm gonna end up watching this movie again this year.
And this is my number one movie of the year so far, right behind 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple, which is the last movie I
Mhm.
actually got to watch with you.
Yeah.
So it's a great movie. Check it out. This kind of gives Top Gun Maverick vibes of this could go
Mhm.
on for a while in the theater, and it's a rewatchable movie that you can bring your family with.
Absolutely. In terms of like big blockbuster movies, I don't think we have anything too crazy for a little bit. So I think it will stay popping in the theaters for a good bit. I think they released it at a good time, really.
Don't forget though, Super Mario Galaxy's next week.
Okay, but that's
It's
another
different counter
realm.
programming.
That's like another realm a little bit. Like I still think that's gonna do amazing. Like kids are gonna go watch
Mm-hmm.
that, but this is just a whole nother realm. But that would have been a cool movie to see at 40X. We saw the trailer in 40X and it was
Yes.
pretty wild.
It was a lot. Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll definitely check out that one soon.
But
Mhm.
guys, thank you for watching. Let us know in the comments what you thought of Project Hail Mary if you did see it. If you didn't see it yet, what's been holding you back? So make sure you check us out on all the social media we got and our Amazon t-shirts right here.
Yeah. What do we
Links,
got? TikTok, Instagram,
yes. Of course, YouTube,
Letterbox. Oh, YouTube.
Letterboxd, yeah. So check us out on everything. Michael, it's great to have you. The Michael
Great
and
to be
Trevor
back.
Show without Michael is like you're missing the peanut butter to your peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Exactly. But shout out Alex with Real Friends Pod.
Yes,
Definitely check
we
them out.
love you, Alex, at the Real Friends Pod. Thank you for doing everything, man. You're great. But yeah, thank you for watching another episode of the Michael and Trevor Show. I'm Trevor,
And I'm Michael.
and we'll see you again. Have a great one, guys.